Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah. So you teach students how to use AI in a clear and responsible way. What do you think students should understand first when learning to work with AI?
Such an important and loaded question. I think the first thing that I go over day one with my students is what it can't do and what its limitations are. Because a lot of my students, they just have ChatGPT on their phone and they think it's kind of magic, like an oracle that's always right. So I think the first thing students need to understand is AI's a prediction machine, right? It's not thinking, it's looking at averages, trying to give you the answer it thinks you want. And so I tell them the things that it can output that are just foolish, like hallucinations. And their favorite example is Klay Thompson's national basketball player. Everyone's very excited about him here. And one night he was having a really bad night and kept missing the basket. And everyone was tweeting, oh, Klay Thompson's throwing bricks. Well, Grok's AI put out a headline Klay Thompson is throwing bricks through windows in Los Angeles, like he was on a crime spree. So the AI took pieces of that information and tried to put it together and put out something absurd. And I just think that's the biggest thing to teach my students is you need to have your critical thinking hat on when it comes to outputs because it could be very wrong. It could be a hallucination. So always ask for links, go verify. It's an awesome tool, but you have to be the driver of the car if AI is the car. And the second one is bias. A lot of people don't realize the biased answers you can get from AI. My favorite example is I live in Philadelphia. Our football
Okay.
team is the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Eagles. And I had all my students go to ChatGPT and create an image of an Eagles fan. And that's all they put in. And all of them got different pictures, like different hats, different backgrounds. Every fan was a middle aged white man with a beard. And we talked about what information is the AI working from that it thinks the average of an Eagles fan is a middle aged white guy with a beard. Like we come in all different shapes and sizes, Eagles fans. So it was a good example for them of bias that you need to think about that output too. It's not neutral, it's based on whatever facts it has. And that can lean, discriminatory and wrong. And we need to think about that. So that's the biggest thing I think students need to know. It is an amazing tool, like any other tool, but it can get things wrong, and you never want to let it think for you because there are all these issues. And we talk more about issues like privacy and just to approach it with eyes wide open. I think that's my biggest advice to students. Start out, learn about it. It's changing everything, but it's not magic.
Wow, that's
It's
awesome.
something to think, yeah,
Yeah,
something to think critically about for sure.
yeah, true. And as AI becomes a bigger part of education, what changes do you think schools should make to help students learn well and stay prepared for the future?
I definitely think schools should be integrating AI education. And sometimes other professors and teachers get a little like, ugh, like AI should not be in my classroom. And I say it's okay if you don't want to integrate it, but you should talk to students about it. But somewhere in students' education, it needs to be integrated. We need to be showing them how it's a thinking tool. And I find, so I'll share, Jonathan, when AI came out, I'm a writing teacher. I got all these papers that have been AI generated. And I'm like, what is happening? Where are my students' voices? And I found out when I slowed down and showed them how it works, hey, we can use it to brainstorm our topics or do research or to even help us practice our grammar and take away, like, demystify it, take away the magic angle that it does everything and it's just a tool. And it's really useful. So I would say to schools, introduce it to students. And schools don't need to go spend a bunch of money. Like there's really cool free tools like Boodlebox, which it protects student privacy. It's better for the environment. Students can get free accounts and just show them different ways they can use it responsibly. Because the truth is, when our students graduate, the workforce is expecting AI skills. So it's really on us to show them how to use it ethically and intelligently in ways that they're still thinking, they're still learning, they're keeping their voice, but they know how to navigate the tool. So I think that's so important for schools that give professors and teachers time to learn these tools, to figure out how they want to integrate them, and just support them and students in this process is the biggest thing schools can do right now.
All right, that's amazing. And with your years of teaching and working with students, what's one piece of advice you believe can help students stay confident grow and succeed in this rapidly changing world?
Yeah. So this is such a brilliant question, and I'm so glad you shared it with me in advance because I thought about it for a long time. And if you'll forgive me, I have two answers because I couldn't decide between them.
Sure.
The first was when it comes to AI, they need to be adaptable because the workforce is changing. Like, especially we're seeing in the United States, all the entry level jobs are kind of shifting and reshuffling. And I think over the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to keep happening as AI evolves. So, adaptability is the best piece of advice I could give to students who are going to graduate. Understand that that job description is going to keep changing and how AI is involved is going to keep changing, and to just flow with it and keep learning is the best piece of advice career wise. The other piece of advice is on the human level, and I wish it's something someone had told me when I was in high school and college. Build relationships. Build relationships. Like the teacher that you click with, like stay in touch with them. You might need a recommendation letter or mentoring advice. The smartest thing a student ever did before she took my class is she knocked on my office door and said, I'm thinking of taking your class. I'd like to talk to you about your approach and your syllabus. And I thought, this woman means business. Like, this woman
Yeah.
knows her education. She's in charge of it. And I told her my teaching style. We clicked. She took my class. We're still in touch. Same thing with classmates, like classmates who you see them going in the right direction in life, like build connections, join clubs. This is what's going to see you through, especially when everyone's paying so much attention to computers and AI. I think it's got to be the two-pronged approach. Yes, stay current on the technology, but don't let that take away from fostering those relationships and connections that are going to support you as you get that education and move towards the workforce. That's just so essential.
Right, that's amazing. Thank you for this advice. Yeah. So,
Of course.
yeah, on behalf of the Student Experience Podcast, we will say a big thank you for getting time to share your experience with us. And then I have learned a lot. And then I believe the students who will be watching this will also, learn from your experience. Thank you very much. And nice
Of
meeting
course.
you.
Nice meeting you too. Have a wonderful day, Jonathan.
Sure.